This is a Canon C100 Mark II. It's one of the smallest and cheapest cameras in Canon's cinema lineup, apart from the C100 Mark I. So what do you do if you want a B camera that's like this but a bit smaller? Well, there is a camera like that. There is the XC10. And that is kind of a mini C100. You can see where they both share some similar design elements, the rotatable hand grip on the side, the little foot at the bottom of the camera, and importantly they both shoot C-Log. So how closely do these two cameras match up? After all, that's very important if you're going to be using both of them on the same film shoot. Well, the XC10 is 4K, where the C100 Mark II is only Full HD, but that's not too much of a significant difference. What's far more important is going to be the difference in sensor size and also the color science differences too. Canon is very well known for its color science, so let's start there. There is a little bit of a difference. It's not too significant, and you can grade the XC10 to match the C100 Mark II. Or you could not, you could just leave it because the difference isn't too noticeable, especially if you're shooting completely different angles. The Canon XC15, which is the model above the Canon XC10, does have some improvements made to how it handles color in C-Log, so it will match the rest of the Canon Cinema series a bit closer. Now, sensor size. The Canon C100 Mark II has a Super 35 sensor with a 1.5 times crop. The XC10 has a much smaller sensor with a 2.7 times crop. In terms of low light, there is a bit of a difference between the two cameras, but it's not hugely noticeable. They're both a similar level of performance. The main thing to note here is that the XC10 has some built-in noise reduction, so whilst it looks a bit less grainy than the C100, there might be a bit less detail there too. If you apply noise reduction to the C100 in post, the results between the two cameras are pretty similar. The C100 Mark II is maybe one stop ahead of the XC10 in terms of low light. Sensor size also affects depth of field, and as you can see, the C100 does have a shallower depth of field than the XC10 does. But the C100 Mark II is an EF camera with a lens mount, so you can attach a lens such as the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 art. With a lens like this on, the C100 Mark II gets a much shallower depth of field, and it's better at low light too. Sadly, this is the compromise in order to get the XC10 so small, there's just no room for a lens mount. There are some more differences between these two cameras, but those don't really affect the image quality. The Canon XC10 and C100 Mark II are definitely similar enough to be used together on the same shoot. The XC10 does make a good B camera, and it can do some stuff the C100 Mark II can't do, such as 4K and 120 Fps Slow Motion. It's also really small, so you can carry it around with you everywhere and you can mount it in tighter places. I intend to use the XC10 as my main camera for YouTube and my C100 Mark II as the main camera for other projects. Definitely the business ones. If you found this video useful, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing so as not to miss any new videos. See you later.